Our first guest tonight is an Emmy and Tony Award-winning actor you know from his work on Monk and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. He stars in Antigone, this play I read in high school, which begins performances February 26th at the Public Theater here in New York. Please welcome back to the show my very good friend, Tony Shalhoub, everybody. Friend.
Nice crowd you got.
It's a very lovely crowd.
Wow.
A very lovely crowd. You know, I'm very happy to see you, but a friend of ours did not make the trip this time.
Yeah.
Last time you were here, you had a very substantial mustache. And were you sad to see it go, or?
Well, you know, I had had it for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was time to let it go. And then once I shaved it, I was like, wow. Because they really do hide a lot of sins.
Yeah.
And I think my ideal look, you know, moving forward, will be like in a gigantic full beard.
Oh, you think you're gonna go? Yeah, you maybe thought you didn't go far enough last time.
Yeah, I this is not as good.
I'm a big fan. That's not why I like the mustache. One, I just thought, I especially in like blizzard conditions, I feel like a mustache is a very helpful thing to have because it's like a face scarf.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
How did you feel about our? I mean, you're from Green Bay, Wisconsin, right?
Right.
So this was not a blizzard.
This was more what we would call like a light dusting.
Yeah.
In Green Bay. Yeah. We would get so much snow there, right? And it was, you know, when we were young, when we lived on a corner, right? And my dad had paved the driveway, so it was my job and my brother Dan's job to shovel the walk and the driveway. So my dad's method was to get us out there like when the snow started. So
it would never even hit the ground.
Well, right, but you would shovel, and then after 2.5 hours, you'd be finished. You'd have to start over.
Yeah.
Because you look behind you, and it's like, okay, well, there's.
Was his thinking that it was like better to just like get a head start on it?
I think his thinking was just get us out of the house.
Yeah.
Get us out of his hair. Get us exercising. You know, keeping us out of.
We've
trouble.
talked about the size of your family before. How many siblings again?
I have 9 siblings.
9 siblings.
Yeah.
And you do have a family reunion. You'll do it in Wisconsin when you do it, correct?
Right. We do it every summer for a week. Yeah.
And now 9 siblings, that's a lot of family. How big does it swell to?
It has now expanded to 52, 53 people.
Wow, that's incredible.
Which is a lot because we don't really cater it. And
I was worried you were going to say, we don't really like each other.
Well, it's funny you should ask that because we, my daughter, Josie, and I just finished a cookbook. Actually, is a kind of a family reunion.
All right, this is very. I'm glad
cookbook.
we set up. There's a family reunion cookbook.
Well, it's a kind of a It started out as we were going to do let's do of all the family recipes, well, like 100 recipes. And we sold this idea to Simon & Schuster. They're really very supportive of us. But then as we started going and we started like submitting stories, it's like, well, how about more stories and fewer recipes?
Right.
So now we're down to like 20 recipes, and just the rest is just narrative, which is.
I will say, as titles go, I think this is a great title for a cookbook about getting together with your family.
Yeah.
We thought they'd never leave.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's really great. Now,
it comes out. Thank you. It comes out in the fall.
It comes out in the fall. You wrote it with Josie.
Josie and I did it together.
But again, these were a lot of your family stories.
Right.
So Josie was probably too young to obviously have experienced them. Did you have to then lean on your siblings for memory?
Right. I did. Some of these stories, you know, they were just sort of part of the family lore.
Right.
Right. But I was young for some of those events, some of those stories. So I was constantly calling my older brothers and sisters like, hey, I need, you know, give me what you got. I got so many insights and details. We did a deep dive with each one. So really, really cool family stories. And I mean, you can imagine, it's chaos.
This was, I think you were too young for this one, but tell us the story about your dad getting a summer job for all of his children.
Yeah, so we spend our summers where we actually now do our reunions in this little resort area in northeastern Wisconsin. And there was a restaurant up there, mostly a seasonal place. And the owners didn't want to run it one summer. They had something else going on, so they wanted to rent it out. And my father, stepped in and was like, my kids will do it. We'll take it. Take it for the whole summer. Had not told my siblings the plan before making the deal. So that's one of the stories. And so they all just went in there with not a lot of experience and ran a very, very busy 7-day-a-week, 3 meals a day.
They managed a restaurant?
They ran it. They managed, dealt with the vendors, cooked the food, waited on tables.
Now, obviously, he wasn't honest with your siblings before he got the job. Was he honest with the people who owned the restaurant?
Well,
Was he like, I've got a team of restaurateurs who will take it over?
Yeah. I mean, define honest. Yeah, what he said was, I've got my kids, they're great. They're hard workers. They'd be happy to do it. They were, let's just say they weren't all that happy to do it.
Well, it's one thing to be like, because when you wait tables at a summer job, you can call in. If you're too hungover, you can call in and be like, I'm sick today. When you're managing a restaurant.
Yeah, you're opening it in the morning. You're locking it up at night, and.
I feel like now, I felt bad that you had to shovel the walk, but I think you had the easiest job your dad ever got in.
Absolutely.
This is very exciting. Antigone. This is not a fresh new play. This is the original Antigone.
Well, it's based on the original. The original is from 400 BC or something, but this is an updated version called Antigone, this play I read in high school.
And did you read it in high school? Did you have any memories of reading it?
I'm sure I read it, have no memories of it.
Yeah.
But, and that's why everyone needs to see the play, because our production really, even though it's a modern sort of take on the story, kind of catches people up on the original and makes it super relatable, because it's about governance and it's about the squelching of civil rights. It's about individual rights, especially for women, and about the complexity of governance. And could not be more timely.
That's fantastic.
The climate we're in.
It's very exciting to have you on stage. It's very exciting to have you on screen. Bolio, a Spirit of the Mustang.
Okay, yeah, this is a friend of ours got into where this is a movie that Brooke and I are co-producers on, and we also do cameo parts in it. Really fun comedy.
Eugene Cordero is a very funny guy. I'm very
Eugene
happy.
and Gabe Hogan and a lot of other really great, funny people. My friend Jim Isa directed it and co-wrote it. And it's going to be coming out later this year. I was just going to mention really quickly, too, I've been busy. So there's another show, a TV streamer that's starting March 1st called American Classic, which is about Kevin Kline and Laura Linney. And it's sort of a love letter to the American theater. Really funny, really beautiful. Very proud of that one.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you're talking about... I'm glad, by the way, do you have something else?
Did I mention that it premieres on MGM Plus?
MGM Plus is where it premieres. Yeah. I'm very happy that you are talking about stuff that's about to come out, because I was about to shout out the fact that Cars is 20 years old. Which is less helpful. We want to help Cars do great numbers this week.
Yes, please.
My children are lucky enough to know you personally.
By the way, I did see the segment where you had them on the show.
Yeah.
So see, it reminded me, because I've been working with my daughter, and she's now working together on the book, but also she has started a production company, and we're involved in projects with her. She's getting into writing and producing. And it's great working with your kids. When I saw your three here, I started thinking, well, they're probably taking over your show.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be working for them, right?
Oh, 100. By the way, when it was over, they talked to me like my agent. They were like, that's great. We should get lunch and talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
But they're very excited. When they watched Cars, and we were like, that's Uncle Tony's voice. And they don't like it.
Yeah. They don't like the voice of the movie.
They like this character, and they like you. They didn't like knowing you were this.
Oh.
They were like, they're like, the magic's gone.
Oh.
Yeah. So, in the future when you do voiceover work, just
now
don't
they
tell
know
us.
what my wife feels like. Yeah.
How dare you? She misses the mustache, just be honest. She misses it.
She really does.
Thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Tony Shalhoub, everyone, in Antigone. This play I read in high school begins performances this Thursday at the Public Theater. We'll be right back with Jenny Slate.